I think it's a pretty cool aspect of profit sense. It's going to give us a warning note. We're going to see that what profit sense is telling us is that now that these guys are earning income, we got to keep in mind that now income taxes are going to come. So it's a very good thing to keep in mind, and it's a really good flag for us as an investor if we're trying to see all different aspects or as many aspects of this company as we can. Profit sense is going to help us simplify this and put this into a perspective. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the projected model that we ran?
Yeah, thank you, James. We have a few questions coming in here. The first one is, I've seen a full set of financial statements before and noticed other statements, such as a statement of stockholders' equity and cash flow. Would these be used in profit sense analysis?
Good question. So in most of the profit sense that you're going to, the analysis that you're going to do, I would not use those. Profit sense doesn't ask for these statements. However, it's good to get a feel for the cash movement from a cash flow perspective. And really what the statement of stockholders' equity is going to do for you is it's really going to drill into the equity or the portion of the balance sheet that shows what the investors have put into the company. It's really going to drill down into those details and break that down. So the most important information that we need to use for our projections and our analytics is really going to be captured on the balance sheet and the statement of income.
Okay, and we got another question here for you, James. For the company's operational plans, how would we know that any one change in the company will affect revenues or expenses, and by how much?
Great. Yeah, that's a really good question. And as I noted earlier on when we went to make the adjustments, we may or may not know what the effect of these changes will be. But what the nice thing is similarly to when I answered the question regarding the multiple companies comparison, what we're going to be able to do is you can run a projection based on certain expectations, put it into Excel, save it, and then run another one. So what you can do is you can essentially play around with the projections and say, okay, well, if these guys open a new office or if these guys double their sales force, and maybe that's a 50% increase in sales. So you can put that into the increase in sales and see where those projections take you. Or maybe you can say, well, I don't think that they're going to really, increase sales by 50%. Maybe it's more like 35 to 40. Well, you can run both 35 and 40, get those projections, and put all three next to each other to see kind of where that would fall out.
All right, and we got one more question here, James. Why is analyzing cash flow important?
Cash flow is important because you want to know how well the company is using the cash. So you don't want the company burning through cash faster than it can either make it in operations, or essentially you want to know how fast they're leading into the next round of financing. Now that's important because from a dilution standpoint, if you put money into a company and you buy stock, the more stock they issue subsequent to you putting money in, your ownership essentially has the risk of being diluted. So, personally, I like to just see how well cash is being managed. However, from the operational standpoint, in terms of revenues and profitability, it's not an extremely large component of that aspect.
Okay, and those are all the questions we have. At this point, we will take it back to Kim.
Thank you so much, James. What a very informative and exciting presentation that you provided for us today. We hope you've enjoyed our presentation. Just to kind of recap some of the highlights, at least from my viewpoint. There we go. One, there is a solution to analysis paralysis. It is called a profit sense. And profit sense, as James described in pretty good detail, allows you to change the business plan assumptions of a company that you are considering investing in, and it allows you to understand how that company's financial performance or financial projections compare to other companies in their industry. So it's a very powerful, very flexible analytical tool that is, notwithstanding all those numbers looks pretty confusing, is very user-friendly. And one of the other very cool things about ProfitSense is it is available to all breakaway funding investors. Every single one of our offerings include in the due diligence documentation the financial projections, and we have already uploaded or populated ProfitSense with the company's financial projections. So you will have access to the sensitivity analysis tool, or your ability to change up to 8 different business plans assumption, whether it's growth rate, expense rate, so that you can get comfortable with the prospective investment operating cash flow and profitability to help you make a more informed investment decision. Again, at this time, I'd like to take a moment to thank our presenter, James Lichau of BPM, and for providing this information, this informative session about how to use ProfitSense financial tool to help us analyze our investment opportunities. If you have additional questions for James, his contact information is available in this presentation. We will be sending you a copy of this presentation in a post-webinar link, so you may review at your leisure, and certainly give him a call if you have any questions. We will also be sending you a brief survey, not only to provide feedback on this event, but to also let us know what kinds of other educational webinars you would like us to bring. We invite you to our upcoming events. Next month, we'll have How to Pitch Your Deal, and the following month, Developing Your Exit Strategy. So please visit us at breakawayfunding.com to sign up for any of these events. We thank you all for joining us today. Again, we hope you found it valuable, and we welcome you to the Breakaway Funding community.